is your year and a half. We're at Collex's headquarters at Rhodes in New South Wales, and we're about to surprise a special guest who's busily working on their next $1 million. Let's go in and surprise him. Can you play on here again? It's still alive. There you go. Absolute genius.
Where's Grove? The little Grove video.
Hang on. Yeah, there's that. There's that. Rod Ready. Here he goes. He goes, big fella. Straight over the top.
Early.
Look at that. Sensation. Well, listen, mate, what do you want to do for lunch?
It's up to you.
Right, if you have 1 o'clock, you have a couple more beers, or we'll go have a steak, what do you reckon?
Steak, sandwich, steak.
Okay. Alright, let's do that.
Alright, you got it.
Okay.
Yes, he is. Okay, come this way.
This way, we're going to have so many videos.
I can't believe he dropped that. Like that. Hang on a sec, will you?
Shit, who's that? You should be quite
Yeah, look at this, look. Yeah, come in.
What's this? What's going on here, for Christ's sake?
Mr. C.W. Hippo, this is your year and a half.
Stupid, have you got anything to do with this?
Fucking if I don't know what the hell's going on at all.
What the bloody hell?
It's been a huge year for Collex in New South Wales. Since winning the State of the Year award 18 months ago, the company has grown and continued to diversify into new services. One of those developments was a major shopping centre contract.
You're a Peter joke. How good am I?
It's the New South Wales Commercial Sales Manager, Peter Grima. Hey, Tim. How's things?
Good.
Peter, tell us a bit about the project.
Well, actually, it was Macquarie Shopping Centre in North Ryde, and Collex actually got awarded this contract in September '97. And the way it was put together is that it was based on a tonnage basis, and we're a little concerned about that because it was out of the ordinary. And I think Collex, the management team, actually got their heads together, and we put a few safety nets in place, and it's actually worked out to be a very profitable account.
Peter, I believe you've introduced some innovative recycling programs at the site.
We sure have. When Collex was awarded the contract in 1997, we increased the tonnages of cardboard not going to landfill and going to recycling from 4 tonnes a month up to approximately 25 tonnes a month. I guess we've extended that now. We're actually looking within the centre to do all the recycling in regards to the PET, aluminium cans and glass bottles. So yes, we're pretty happy with that. And I guess to extend on that, we're also looking at facilities management and having one of our people control the whole centre in regards to the waste management side of things. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
And I think you've got somebody important that I believe has been a success in your life at Collex, Peter.
I sure have.
Who would that be?
I sure have. This fella here is very dear to my heart, and I think he has that familiar sort of face that everyone could love, and I guess we've all got a touch of holiness, and I'd just like to present this to Mr. CW. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Peter, and I must say that Peter and his sales team have done a fantastic job on this, and Peter, I'd like to say that thank you very much for coming this evening.
No problem, CW. Thank you very much.
Oh, screw it, down on my tigers eat me again.
It's like my mother.
C.W. Hippo, back in mid-1997, you were successful in winning a waste contract at the Olympic Village at Homebush, home of the athletes. At the last conference, I believe you were working on this project.
Yes, well that's right, Clint. I was, matter of fact, it was a bit of a pain in the backside. I had to cut short a game of golf by 9 holes, so I only got the front 9 in.
Yeah, what a pain in the ass when you get up in the dark.
Yes, it's the Olympic site manager, Steve Olympic Lawrence.
How's things, Steve?
Fine, CW, fine.
Steve, tell us about the project at Homebush.
Well, at Homebush we've sort of come up with the innovative idea of recycling on site. Recycling sort of not new to the industry, so we had to have an edge to win the contract. What we've done on there is stockpile brick, concrete and timber, and we've turned that waste into a resource on site. To date, we've had over 11,500 cubic metres generated on site, and the majority of that has been turned into wood chip, crushed concrete and brick for decorative pebble
percentage of product have been recycled on site, Steve?
Today, out of the waste that has been generated, 92% has been recycled.
Fantastic response. Steve, I believe you have something special to present to CW Hippo tonight.
Yeah, Glenn, that's right. Last Friday night, Collex was successful in the Western Sydney Industry Awards for environmental management on the Olympic project. Congratulations, CW. Thanks for your help.
Stephen, I take a lot of pleasure in accepting this award, not only for myself, but also the company as a whole. People involved, the camaraderie. God, you've got to excuse me, I'm getting a bit emotional here. Thank you very much anyway.
Thanks for your support, CW, over the last 18 months.
That's a pleasure, Stephen.
CW, one of the great innovations nationally at present is facilities management. I believe you have been successful in winning your first facilities management project on the central coast of New South Wales at Sanitarium.
Yes, and as I always say, POMs equals profit.
Well, don't know about that. I think sometimes problems equal problems.
Welcome to the Newcastle Depot Manager, Phil Let's Go Sailing Scott.
Thank you.
Phil, what was the secret of winning the facilities management project at Sanitarium?
Oh well, we had good service over a number of years, and we looked at new ways of doing things. We offered them safety that wasn't being looked after by our opposition, some recycling options that they hadn't thought of, and generally came up with a really good package. In our first month of operation, we had a revenue of 16,000. That would show a profit of about 3,500, and in turn we saved Sanitarium about 2,500.
CW, well, it's not often that Collex in New South Wales follows trends established in other states, but I'm sure in this case you're happy to jump on the facilities management bandwagon.
Yes, well, if I must say, and I must say, Glenn, if it wasn't for our regional deep bots, we may as well close the doors this minute. And I must say thank you, Philip.
Thank you, CW.
CW, we have spoken to a number of your colleagues tonight in relation to innovations in dry waste. I believe the liquid division at Camellia is extremely profitable at present.
Someone has to make up for him, Phil.
CW, your reliable and trusted colleague from Camellia, Glenn, the Liquid King Horne.
Hey, CW, how are you?
Good to see you again, Glenn. Lovely, sir. Lovely.
Thank you.
Glenn, what new and exciting innovations have contributed to your success at Camellia over the past 18 months?
Well, the last 18 months, with the support of CW, have seen the commissioning of our liquid treatment plant, which is state of the art as far as Collex is concerned. It's certainly enabled us to improve in the liquid market and improve our returns, obviously, as the results are shown to date. We've built the business from fairly slow starts, with only probably 100 or 150,000 litres per week going through, and the business is now built up to about 2 million litres per month, so we're quite pleased with that advancement. The progression of the plant over the past 18 months has also enabled us to acquire a fairly dominant opposition company, Rodney Liquid Waste, and it's certainly helped us progress our transport fleet from 2 trucks 18 months ago to a fleet of 7 now, and certainly has also made us the dominant transporter of liquid waste within the New South Wales region.
Well, CW, I think that's a record you've got to be proud of.
With this section being one of our most profitable divisions of Collex New South Wales, it is a credit to the likes of Glenn Horne, Bob Stuckey, Josephine Mockford, and let me say one more thing about that smart-ass comment you said before about keeping infertile life. Mate, if they only return their phone calls, they might be a little bit bigger. Thank you, Glenn.
CW, Power Clean has been a successful part of Collex nationally over the past 18 months. The acquisition of Aqualine and Middlemass in recent months now makes Collex in New South Wales a stronger force in waste management.
In fact, it's the first new truck we've had in 7 years.
Well, if that's Dennis, don't get used to it, son. It may well be your last.
That's right, CW. It's Power Clean's Operations Manager, Dennis Supersucker Galvin.
Good to see you, Dennis.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Well
Thank
done.
you, sir.
Wonderful job.
Dennis, as Power Clean is a new division in New South Wales, what is your initial impression of Collex?
Well, I think we were purchased by Collex late in 1998, and certainly though we were languishing for probably a month or so until Horne came on board, and he certainly turned the thing around. Now our revenue's up by 30%, and our utilisation is equally as high as that. Our costs are now in control, and they're right down. So really the way we've been travelling in the first 3 months is absolutely magnificent. And all I can say is that Pacific Waste are absolutely spewing.
When Power Clean first come onto the scene, I didn't know what to expect, and I still don't. But I'm glad they're with us, and not that would be, if they bloody well could be, excuse the French, Pacific Waste bloody management. Welcome to the company, Dennis.
Thank you.
CW, 3 years ago in Collex, New South Wales, you had no domestic contracts. Then you were successful in winning the ride contract. From that success, many others have followed. One of the great contributors of that success is unable to join us tonight. He is out entertaining customers, we think. However, through the wonders of modern technology and GPS, if we can just get this to work... Jimmy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Jimmy, are you there? Jimmy!
I'm a little bit busy out at the moment. I've got a little bit on. Just a second. Follow that mate. No, not that again, for Christ's sake. Cookie, see if you get Bernie back over the bow with you, mate. He's just gone overboard. Cookie, don't say that about Doug. I'll look after you, I promise. Listen, your domestic what, contracts? Yeah. I can get you some. How many do you want? Listen, CW, I've got to go in a minute, mate. It's going to get a little bit area out here. I will get back. Tell Doug I'll be back there. I'll sort things out when I get back. Tell Jim Perry to call me. Take care of yourself. Ta-ra!
Jimmy! I think we've lost Jimmy.
My God, Glenn. Is that man on the payroll, sir? If he is, I want to meet him. Hello, sailor. Hello, sailor.
CW, whilst it appears that Jimmy Jaggs has gone down again, we do have someone here tonight who actually has the dubious honour of running the domestic contracts.
I can't believe you said that.
CW, it's the General Manager of the Domestic Services, Jim Leeds United, Perry.
How are you, CW?
Jimmy, how are you?
Good.
Jim, tell us about some of the domestic contracts you have won over the past 18 months.
CW, in the 3 years since we got the first domestic contract in ride, our business has grown to serving over 300,000 households. We've got 15 contracts, and we've got about a turnover of about $30 million. We have contracts in Rockdale, in Cogra, Ku-ring-gai, Leichhardt, and with our acquisition of Moons Recycling, we've also got contracts in North Sydney, in South Sydney, in Wallara, Botany and Strathfield. So CW, we've had a fairly successful expansion.
CW, that sounds like in the domestic scene you've had some fantastic successes over the past 18 months.
Well, let me tell you, the domestic scene is one of my favourite divisions of Collex New South Wales, and Jim is the man I sympathise with the most, because my waste gets picked up in one of those domestic areas, and if my waste doesn't get picked up, boy, I'll be coming down on him like you wouldn't believe. Or, shall I rephrase that? I'll be ringing him straight away.
CW, the other major part of Collex New South Wales business that we haven't yet spoken about tonight are the transfer stations, who I believe have experienced some ups and downs over the past 18 months.
I could definitely make a case out of that.
We welcome Ron, I'm so old, Whitbread, Sales Manager of the transfer stations.
How do you do? I'm so glad to meet you after all these years. After all these years, I'm so glad to meet you.
Fantastic to see you, Ron, thank you. Ron, tell us about your role in the transfer stations over the past 18 months.
Well, it started off about 6 months ago when the GM called me up and he said, Ron, he said, I'm going to give you a new lease of life. I said, yeah, what's that? Can you give me your job? He said, no, nothing as exciting as that. He said, look, he said, Collex have got squillions invested in their transfer stations and particularly the building recycling depot. He said, look, and we've got no one selling it. He said, I reckon you can do a great job on that, Ron. And I said, you're so right, GM. I said, I reckon I can do a great job as well.
So Ron, tell us a little bit about the building recycling depot.
Okay, it was decided a long time ago, before I got there, that they had to spend some real money on this depot to make it more user-friendly. Trucks had to be able to come in and go out without any interruption, without having to drive around piles of waste and rubbish. So we definitely got an exit and an entry. The whole area is covered with concrete, reinforced to make the trucks much easily manoeuvrable, and it can stand up to wear and tear. And what is even greater is that it can, you can use it in any type of weather, rain or shine.
CW, sounds like Ron not only has his hands full, he's certainly going to get his feet dirty.
Well, if I could just add to that just quickly, with the help of what Rod's done, Tony Favell, all the transfer stations that Collex New South Wales are now managing, I must say this reminds me of the old days when I was coaching rugby. And when our backs went to the wall, we plugged and plugged away until we finished on top. And that's what we want you to do, Rod and Tony, is finish on top. So let's all pull together and let's do it.
Thank you very much.
Well, CW, over the last 18 months, the New South Wales development team have been working on the biggest waste project in the history of Collex.
And it truly has been a fun part of the business.
CW, a man with the world on his shoulders, welcome Mr. Paul, Mayor of Muswellbrook Barnes. Welcome, Paul. Tell us about the Northern Sydney Waste Board contract.
It's been a great year and a half for the New South Wales development team. We've gone through a 12-month tender process and we've secured the Northern Sydney Waste Board contract. It's a 25-year, $1 billion plus contract value. It's for the transfer, transport and disposal of waste from the Northern Sydney region out to a remote landfill site. And tied in with that, running parallel to that, has been our development of 2 landfill sites, one in Muswellbrook and one down at Woodlawn. They're not just landfill sites, but they're centred around the whole concept of sustainable development. And it's been an aspect that we've been really pushing to both the regulatory authorities and the communities around those areas.
Well, Paul, what is the current status of this project?
Well, with regards to the Northern Sydney Waste Board contract itself, that's now signed. Collex is the holder of that contract. The team's put a lot of work into the development of the 2 landfill proposals at Muswellbrook and Woodlawn. A lot of work's gone into it, but there's also a lot of work still to do. The Woodlawn proposal is currently heading towards a commissioner inquiry, and we've got to do more work on the Muswellbrook proposal, but confident of getting both of them to the final stages and getting consent.
So CW, this sounds like a very exciting project for the future of Collex New South Wales.
Yes, well, Glenn, if I can say just quickly, much of the credit for the success is down to our Director of Covert Operations, the recently knighted Sir Dr. Lee Smith. He obviously couldn't be here tonight, as he's currently sheltering under the Witness Protection Program, far away from Chatswood. Thank you very much for your help, Paul.
Thanks, CW.
Collex Waste New South Wales, this is your year and a half. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone. It's great to be associated with these young men with great standards and principles that every company needs. It reminds me of the old days when I was coaching the under-14 rugby team. The only reason and also a beer as well. Thank you very much.
We tried to have a bit of fun tonight, do something a little bit different for the conference, put together a video. It's meant to be a bit of fun, but also informative in relation to all of the great things we've done in New South Wales over the last 18 months. We had a great team of guys tonight that helped put this together. Especially like to thank Rodney Hart, who's done a fantastic job on very short notice, and all the guys that contributed. But overall, I'd like to thank all the New South Wales management team and all the New South Wales team in general. We've got a fantastic business with enormous potential. When we realise that potential, I think we're going to frighten a few people. And I think that is certainly an untapped position we've got at the moment. So in general, have a great conference everybody, and thanks again.
So that's what we're going to meet, mate. All right.
Steve, I thought it was a fantastic night. Everyone participated.
It was a surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
All the boys had a go.
Bit of a laugh, bit of dinner.
Yeah.
Just one thing.
Yeah.
Reckon I can get rid of this sign
I bet you piss it off.
and might sound silly, but what about the voice?
That can go too, I reckon.
Oh,
Let's go
mate.
have a couple of
Well,
beers
mate,
at the
definitely
stage.
need a beer after
Come on,
that.
mate, let's go.
Beautiful. Excellent. That was excellent. And I'm not just saying that.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome, Australia. This week on This Is Your Life. Sorry.
Okay. You're gonna have someone come and lift it, then.
Welcome, Australia. This week on This Is Your Year and a Half. Sorry, I looked away. Where our guest is busily working away on our next $1 million. No, doesn't feel right, mate. Doesn't feel right.
Just push that back. Yep.
All right?
Go.
Welcome, Australia, to This Is... Hang on, Rodney. Try again.
Go.
Take 14. Welcome, Australia.
Congratulations, CW. Thanks for all your help.
Thank you very much, Stephen. I take a lot of pleasure in accepting this award, you know. Not only for myself, but also the company as a whole. People involved, camaraderie. Excuse me for a second, please.
Steve, I believe you have something special to present to CW Hippo tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Glenn. Last Friday evening, Collex was successful at the Western Sydney Industry Business Awards in winning the Environmental Management Awards for their work on the Olympic Village. I'd really like to thank CW for all his help in the past 18 months.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Pleasure, thank you, CW.
Stephen, I take a lot of pleasure in accepting this award. Not only for myself.
Come on, we'll be here all fucking night. We'll be here all night, come on. Come on, you're a kid.
Stephen, I take a lot of pleasure in accepting this award. Not only for myself, but the company as a whole.
I told you. We're going to go.
No, stay close. We need you. We need you.
Okay.
Thanks for your support, CW.
It's a pleasure, Stephen.
We're trying to be rude for that last week. He's going, come on now. Come on.
Oh, you're on a switch hitter, are you?
Oh, that's a beautiful voice. Just come on, let's finish it.
Come on, Steve. Just
Alright, pick up your bat too.
just hold it for like, just hold it like 2
Oh, everyone's the same. Get that go.
It's just a lost it.
Come on, Bullfan.
Look at it.
Oh,
Stephen, front and centre, mate.
That's not much.
Come on. Come on.
Hang on.
alright.
It's like the footy show, isn't it?
You gotta wet yourself,
Right,
Lauren.
look at him.
Look at him.
Come on. Come on. Wait, we've got 10 guys to go. Come on. 1, 2, 3. In.
Hang on.
What was I saying?
Thanks for your kind words.
Thanks for your comment.
Do we need that?
Alright.
Come on. Come on. You're a professional. Do it.
Come on.
I'm laughing. I got the face on in front of his face. That's why you just...
Right.
I'm not a fucking pro.
I don't want to do this all the way, mate. I want to get it right. CW. Power Clean has been a successful part of Collex nationally over the past 18 months. The acquisition of Aqualine and Middlemass in recent months now makes Collex in New South Wales a stronger force in waste management.
In fact, it's the first new truck we've had in 7 years. And if that's Dennis, don't worry about that, Dennis. It'll be the wait. Oh.
Alright, that's right. Start again. Just from your
That's right.
That's all, folks. Just do your bit. Start. Oh, we're doing it again.
Yeah, mate.
Take two.
Hang on.
Two.
Two. Okay.
1, 2.
Excuse me.
2. You alright?
Get late in the night to be doing that.
We're going to check.
1, 2.
Right.
You alright?
Muttley. Yep. Yeah, Muttley.
Well, Sue.
Break, stop laughing, stop. 10 seconds, counting down for 10. 1, 10, 9, 1. Yep, 20, 30, go.
3, 2, 1.
The director. Where are they going?
We did one of those fold out.
Why can't you just be the shit kicker for a change?
Oh, that's going to make a great... Up goes the volume.
Thank you, Glenn. And if I can say just quickly, most of the credit for the success is down to our Director of Covert Operations, the recently knighted Sir Dr. Lee Smith. He obviously couldn't be here tonight, as he's currently sheltering under the Witness Protection Program far away from Chatswood. I'd like to thank you for your help, Peter, Paul, Mary.
Should have Rihanna that took that.
Oh, fuck. Righto, come on, that was... we got to do it again. Peter, Paul.
Thank you, Glenn. But I must say, much of the credit for this success is down to our Director of Covert Operations, the recently knighted Sir Dr. Lee Smith. He obviously couldn't be here tonight, as he's currently sheltering under the Witness Protection Program far away from Chatswood. Thank you for all your help, Paul.
Thanks, CJ.
CJ.
And Mary.
Shake the hand for that.
Sure, quick, again, come on. Fucking fast, go to the come on.
CW.
Hey, CJ. Come on, boys.
Colleague Jackson there, mate.
CW Himbo.
Nah, we're just about done right.